I've been to many places with my wings and students. I've day gamed and coached all over Europe, in many places in North America and Latin America. Hell, even this video is coming from a hotel rooftop in Chefchaouen, Morocco. Together with my wings and students, we've experimented with what works and what's a waste of time. So today let's answer a question: who does better day gaming, the locals or the foreigners? We will start with a simple answer to that question and then really geek out. We will look at how that changes from city to city depending on where you are from, 3 reasons why foreigners do better in some cities, why hotter girls react worse to foreigners and what you can do to still go out with them, the biggest mistakes successful guys make on day game trips, and how all of these rules apply to 8 different day game cities we will look at as examples. And at the end we'll talk about why you shouldn't go on a day game trip if you're not getting laid and what you should focus on instead. First, let's look at who does better, locals or foreigners, depending on the city you're from, for different types of cities. If you just want to find out the short answer to this question, this is for you. Belgrade, Serbia was the first city I went to on a day game trip, and no one cared about me being a foreigner. Then again, I went to Kharkiv, Ukraine, and I was a shiny thing. I've seen students getting blown out left and right in a city like Warsaw while doing great in a city just as popular for day game, Prague. That's because there are different types of cities. We can divide the cities in 4 parts, so let's do that and let's look at which type of city you'll do better as a local or a foreigner. Touristic party cities like Budapest, Barcelona, Prague, Buenos Aires. All of these places are full of tourists, and because they're known as party places, you have many foreigners going there to try to sleep with the local girls. Local girls understand it and they're tired from it. They know it's not going to be anything more than a one-night stand. So in these party cities, especially in Europe, Buenos Aires would be an exception. In these party cities, it's much better to be a local. Except if it's a city where girls go on solo trips like Prague, Vienna, Playa del Carmen. Yes, the local chicks are going to be tired from guys going there to party and hitting local girls, but the tourists come and go. The second type of city is the non-touristic, non-party cities, places like the Baltics, second-tier cities like Brno in Czech Republic, or places in Poland that aren't Warsaw or Krakow, and Kharkiv in Ukraine, of course, before the war. These cities aren't as full with foreigners, with tourists, so you as a foreigner stand out, so you should do better as a local guy there. The risk, though, is that the girl might want to go out with you just because she's never been out with a foreigner. She wants to talk to foreigners, maybe practice her English, and she has no intentions of doing anything, well, let's say romantic with you. If you have enough experience, you can sleep with a decent chunk of these girls, not everyone, or you can recognize when you're wasting time and when it's better to end the date and leave. The third type of city is the status-driven cities like New York City. Being a world traveler or from another place is not considered high value here. It's all about connections, so being a local is much better. I would put all most popular US cities on this list, places like New York City, LA, maybe Miami and San Francisco. I'm not sure about this, because I haven't day gamed that much in all of them, so take this with a bit of grain of salt. And of course we have to talk about the cities that are the biggest sex tourism destination, places like Medellin, Kiev, and I would also put Warsaw on this list. These types of places are so overrun with sex tourists that local girls are tired of it, and in some cases will start using it against you. Best case scenario, the city is going to become like Kiev back in the day, because everyone used to go to Kiev and they were always going to raving about it, how good of a city it is. Oh my god, I'm getting these numbers with these hot Ukrainian women, and we're going on dates and we're clicking so well, and they're so cool, you know, they're smart, they're interesting, and oh my god, so hot. And these guys, they keep taking these girls on dates, and they keep buying them flowers and gifts and moving closer to sex while never arriving there. And they're doing all of this while they're simply thinking that they're following the local dating culture, trying to fit in within the local dating culture. Well, while in reality there were a lot of women in Kiev simply using these, foreigners. Kiev had a pretty high-level pickup scene back in the day, and I knew some guys who were doing really good with these princessy Kiev girls, taking them to sex parties before even sleeping with them. That's fucking wild. And they were doing these things to the same girls who were playing these innocent princesses with the foreigners. In such environments, you have to be very careful. I know a guy who lost 300,000 because he got married to the wrong Ukrainian girl. But the worst case scenario, the city becomes like Medellin, Colombia. area. It started similar to Kiev, you know, girls becoming demanding more and more when you go on dates, kind of being princessy about where you're taking them, demanding gifts and having this kind of more and more the sugary behavior. But then criminals started taking advantage of it. Many foreigners have been killed in Medellin when showing up on dates. That might be scopolamine, where they drug you, or you might simply be beaten to death with a wrench before they rob you. That is a true story. Do some Googling. Multiple of my former students and friends have had knives and guns pulled on them. Most sex tourism destinations turn to complete shit sooner or later. Out of these 4 types, my favorite is the non-touristic, non-party city. There are many girls, yet there are very few day gamers. Love those places. Now that you know how to pick the best city, let's look at how where you're from changes your chances in Daygame. When I went to Serbia, no one cared about some random dude from Latvia, yet I talked to some guys from the US and they were getting much better reactions. And I noticed the same thing in Budapest, Hungary, where they wouldn't really be impressed by the fact that I'm from some small place in Europe, yet I saw some students do pretty good when they were from more interesting countries. I wouldn't say do pretty good, I would just say that when they tell where they're from, I see their reaction girl has changed a little bit. There are countries that are considered higher value. USA, Canada, typical places like Australia and New Zealand, many EU countries and UK, but only in less developed parts of the world like Latin America, Asia, and sometimes the Balkans. But in most parts of EU, no one cares where you're from. If, on the other side, you're from a less developed country, let's call them lower value countries, that will give the opposite effect. If you're a cool, successful guy who's from a country that's not as impressive, make sure your style and grooming are polished. Make sure you're not associated with the average dude from that country. Mr. T is a very good day gamer in New York City, but when he started day gaming there, he came to a pretty shitty realization. New York City is a little bit racist. If you're day gaming in the most popular day game streets, you'll see that there are a lot of people trying to sell you stuff there. A lot of those people are black. And he, being a black day gamer, realized that he really needs to improve his style and grooming. So when girls first see him, they have a very clear understanding of that he's not selling anything, he's not one of those guys, he's actually a very cool, very successful guy. And as soon as he fixed that, voila, he started getting much better reactions in New York City. Another thing you can do if you are from a lower value city is find ways to establish or to show that you're not the average guy from that city. Show your value without bragging about it. There are 3 reasons why foreigners are doing better in some cities. 2 of those are really good ones, but never use the last one. First, you have your shit together. You're a decent dude. You're a cool, successful guy in a sea of low-value men. You're not working a dead-end job and getting drunk every day after work at a local pub. You're better than most local men. For example, you're working a good job or have your own business. You're doing interesting things in life like traveling and interesting hobbies, you're working out, etc. If you're a dude like that and you go to a place that's less developed where the average guy isn't doing shit in his life, you're bringing a lot of value just because you have your shit together. Or you might be bringing better attitude towards women. When I spent time in Latin America, Ukraine and Serbia, I kept hearing girls tell these stories about controlling men, abuse, it's not rape if it's in a relationship, and other genius ideas. You can even hear stories like that in places like Poland, Czech Republic and Hungary, although not as often. You showing up with a normal, respectful attitude towards women is already something new, and women appreciate it. And then there is going to the Philippines with your Western passport and sleeping with the local girls who are simply hoping you're gonna take them out of their country, you're gonna take them with you. We don't have to go deeper into this. This is simply a bad idea unless you're upfront about your intentions. If you're going to the right places and are bringing some value to the table, you're already ahead of the local competition. Unless you want to date the hottest girls in these cities. So next, let's look at how different types of girls react to foreigners. I met 3 types of girls around the world and they react differently to Daygame. If you're gonna treat all of them the same, you're only gonna go out with 2 of these types. First, the hot, smart, interesting socialites. They don't care about you being a foreigner. Actually, It's bad that you're a foreigner. Hot, successful and interesting women have a selection of cool and successful guys they could go out with, regardless of where in the world you go to, even in the poorest places. There are cool, successful guys trying to date them, but on top of their just trying to sleep with them, many of them want a relationship. They're bringing a lot to the table. You won't do great with these women if you're in a city just for a week, or if you aren't already doing really good with them in your city. Next, the average beautiful girl. These are the girls you're after. She's beautiful, she's interesting, she's fun, but she's chill. She is less princessy, with fewer Instagram followers. She isn't showing her bikini pictures to the whole world and isn't a socialite. If the city is good for foreigners, you'll do the best with these women, and in my eyes, these are the best women today. They're just as beautiful, just as interesting, just as fun, just without the princessy side. And well, we have the hood rats. They're hot, but they're from the hood. Her ex probably is a drug dealer. She's seen some shit, and I have no idea where did you meet her, because they normally live in areas where we day gamers don't go. They're most typical in Latin America, but sometimes you can meet something similar in places like Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, and former Soviet Union countries. They're wild, they're fun, but think twice before doing anything more than just having fun with them. By now you should have a pretty good idea of how to pick your next day game trip destination, but quickly let's look at the one really big mistake successful men make on day game trips. And it is bragging. If you're trying to get girls by flashing your money, bragging about your success, talking about your big business and all of these things, you're getting the opposite effect. Instead of becoming this high-value guy, you go to the bottom of the tier list and you're the guy who's just bragging and throwing money at girls, and they hate it. Not only will the average girl be pushed away by behavior like this, but think about who will really like this. Gold diggers. This London day gamer I worked with for a while used to take girls on expensive dinners, and he was buying them flowers, buying them gifts, ordering them Uber to send them home after date, and doing all of these nonsense things. And then he was surprised. Why is he attracting gold diggers? But it doesn't even have to be that extreme. You can simply talk about your success or show that money is of no issue by how you spend it and things without really caring in a sort of disrespectful way. Foreigners do this all the time in poor countries, and I hear girls from these countries complaining about it all the time. And now let's look at different cities as examples, and I want to do this so you can learn how to analyze each city and understand, hey, is this a good city for my next day game trip or not? Let's start with the overly popular Warsaw. It's a great destination, first of all, because it's full of beautiful women, both Polish women, but also foreigners from Belarus and Ukraine. The average girl in Poland is getting attention from pretty basic dudes. So if you come from a pretty developed country and you have your shit together, you're respectful towards women, you have a big advantage against local guys. While Warsaw does have a lot of cool, successful dudes, it has way more hot and interesting women. But it's a pretty bad destination because I will say it's a sex tourism destination because it's so full of day gamers. If you're day gaming on the same areas, same streets where everyone else is, you will see that in the reactions you get from girls. And another reason I dislike Warsaw, especially for coaching, is you get a lot of false positives. Guys are going to Warsaw and they're thinking, oh, the girls are so receptive, I'm getting so many numbers, it's so amazing, and I'm even sometimes getting dates. But if you look at the real results, yes, while the girls are receptive, they're being polite. Most of the numbers flake. A lot of the dates you end up on are sort of friend zone dates. She was just interested in going out with a foreigner. They're dates to nowhere. And Warsaw is known for that. So it's terrible for coaching because a student might be chatting to a girl, he's thinking, oh my God, she's reacting so well. I'm doing so good. I'm such a good day gamer. And then the number flakes, or she comes on a date and it's a friendly date to nowhere, or many other things happen. The only thing that counts is, did you get laid at the end? And the vast majority of day gamers don't get laid in Warsaw because of false positives. In conclusion, I think Warsaw is a really good place for your first day game trip, especially if you find other kind of streets where no one else goes to. Next, let's talk about Budapest. another great day game trip destination. It's a great city because it's full of tourists and foreign students who go there to become doctors or vets. In Budapest, I'd say girls are reacting a little better if you're from a more developed country, and girls react very well to guys with interesting personalities. So if you're not boring and if you have your shit together, Budapest is a great place to check out. That being said, there are a few downsides. It is a proper sex tourism destination. You have all the stag parties and just guys going to get drunk and party there, and it's full of day gamers. It's a party city where the foreigners are all the time trying to sleep with the local girls. The local girls know it and they are tired from it. Budapest is a great city for one of your first day game trips if you're a cool guy with an interesting personality from a developed country and you stay away from the most overgamed streets during the peak season, which is summer. But there is a trick about Budapest. If you're going there for more than just a day game trip, maybe you're a digital nomad who's thinking about moving there for a few months or for longer, it is the perfect place. Foreigners who actually live there do very good with the local girls because you are different. You're not just coming in and then leaving. They know it's not a one-night stand. They know you're living there. So if that's your case, I highly suggest Budapest. Prague used to be one of my favorite day game cities in Europe, and it's a great destination because it has really unlimited supply of tourists from all over the world. And it has many hot women from Ukraine, Belarus, and other countries in Eastern Europe. And again, the same downsides. It's a sex tourism destination and it's popular for day gamers. Similar to Budapest and Prague, they're all very similar. It's a great destination if you stay away from the overgamed streets, and it's really good off season because in Prague the tourism season never ends. So if you go there during the midwinter, there are no day gamers, it's still full of tourists, it's still full of beautiful local girls, so try it. Now let's look at some bigger cities. For example, London. London is a great destination because it has everything you like. Whatever your thing is, you'll find it in London. It has great traffic all year round, and it has girls from all backgrounds. Hot, interesting girls that haven't become princessy yet. But there are two big downsides to London. First of all, the most popular day game streets in London are the most overgamed streets in Europe because of the second reason. London has the highest concentration of day game bums. Guys who are not bringing any value to the table and they're running around the groups in the popular day game streets in London and just spam approaching. It's kind of hilarious view. Overall, I think London is a great place to go to test your skills once your level is good enough. You can do good there as a local, you can do good there as a foreigner. It all comes down to, are you bringing any value to the table, and are you actually good at day game? Or maybe you're from the US, so let's look at New York City. There are 4 reasons why New York City is really good as a destination for your next day game trip. It is one of the few pedestrian-friendly cities in New York City. Because of that, there are so many places you could day game at. It has unlimited volume any time of the year, and you can find whatever you like, whatever your thing is, whatever your type is, you can find it in New York City. And on top of that, the girls in New York City are actually fairly receptive if you're someone who's already okay with people and you add some game on top of it. But there are 3 reasons why New York City sucks for day game. It is very hard for beginners. You need to get to a decent level to start getting good reactions from women there. It is status and money driven, so you being a foreigner, world traveler, or anything else like that has no value there. It's all about climbing the ladder, finding ways to reach your goals, etc., and you can pretty soon start seeing it if you're day gaming in New York City. And the worst of all, the average beautiful girl has a lot of cool, successful guys trying to date her. Overall, if you're getting laid, New York City is the perfect place to take your game to the next results without leaving the US. You can day game in all the popular areas and you don't have to worry about 3 guys having opened her before. Take into account that in New York City, style and grooming is very important. People are busy, someone's always trying to get their attention. So if you stop a girl and she instantly, by the first glance, can see that you're a guy worth talking to, she's just gonna leave. Stockholm, a place many people are considering and going to. It's a great destination because it has many beautiful girls, it has great traffic, very little racism, and pretty open-minded culture. The big downside of Stockholm is that the average guy is pretty high value. If you're not, it's gonna be harder. Stockholm is a great place to go to if you are really good with one type of girls. Let's say you're really good with former Soviet Union girls or girls in Latin America. Now you want to do something completely different. And don't worry, it's not nowhere near as well because everyone is complaining. And lastly, let's look at one of the Baltic countries. Let's look at Lithuania, Vilnius. Two big things. First of all, not a lot of day gamers at all, and the average beautiful girl doesn't have many cool successful guys chasing her. But it has many downsides. First of all, the traffic is much lower. If you are someone who skips 3 girls and then opens the 4th one because you had AA, then well, in 2 hours you're gonna do 2 or 3 approaches. You have to open everyone that's hot enough to get in 10 approaches in 2 hours. You could do really good there if you are of an intermediate or higher level of day game. If you're a beginner, then just go to one of the places I mentioned in the beginning. Go to Warsaw, Budapest, Prague. In Vilnius, the girls don't care about where you're from. This is true for most cases, but I just wanted to emphasize this about the Baltics, because some people think, okay, it's really kind of sort of Eastern Europe, it's really small countries, and oh, you know, I come from like Germany or UK or US and I'm gonna be so amazing. You're not. In these places it really doesn't matter, and if you try to play this card too much, it's gonna backfire. Places like Vilnius, you know, smaller, kind of more chill, not a lot of day gamers, are some of my favorite locations for day game. And now you should be able to apply the same idea to any other city. Just look at the good reasons, kind of pros for going there based on the things we talked about in this video. Look at the cons and make the conclusion, hey, is it a city I should go to? But before you go on a day game trip, think, do you really need to do that? Is it really a good idea? And if yes, have you really thought out your trip? A bad or average trip will take away multiple weeks of your time that you could have spent working on your business or being in a better destination, and it will probably take away several thousand of euros. So don't waste your time and money. Make sure you're really prepared for the trip and are doing it for the right reasons. If you're not getting results and you're going on a day game trip just because, oh, it's easier and I'm gonna do good, then do a few things. First of all, max out your SMV. Just make sure you're in an okay shape. I'm not talking about six-pack, just make sure you're not obese, and do as much as possible with your style and grooming, because that plays a role. That's why it's already included in most coaching packages. And then the second thing is, if you're not doing that good in day game, instead of going to an easier place and just trying to get lucky, maybe get some coaching and actually learn good day game. I keep meeting these guys who go to easy cities and maybe they get some results there, maybe they don't, but then they go back to their home city and they're in the same spot. Maybe they take a bunch of trips over the year and they get some lays over the year, but then they go back to their home city, nothing has improved, nothing has changed, their game is still the same. If you have to go to really easy cities to get laid, then well, take control of your dating life, get some day game coaching and actually become good at meeting women. Or take your next day game trip to the next level by adding one-on-one coaching on top of it. I'll teach you everything you need to understand why your results are inconsistent and unpredictable. You will learn to approach any women in any everyday situation, how to get their numbers, and set up the dates. Instead of day gaming on and off for years, you'll finally be taking day games seriously. Instead of going to the same places where everyone else is going and approaching in front of Zloty Terasy in Warsaw or in Fashion Street in Budapest, we'll find the perfect destination for the trip for you. We will look at your skill level, the types of girls you're interested in, and what city will prepare you best for getting back on day gaming in your home city. Almost all successful day gamers I know became good in less than 1 year, usually 6 to 12 months. And I know almost no one who did bad for 6 months and then magically all of a sudden became good on their own. If you've been day gaming for 6 months or more and still aren't getting results, then check the link in the description to learn everything about how coaching usually works, the typical pricing, etc. And there you can also schedule a free call where we can talk all the details. That's it for this time. See you in the next video. Ciao, guys.